but for free agency. But there's one thing, there's one team we're going to talk about in depth about what they can possibly do in free agency, and some of those they already did.
Yeah.
Robin, this would probably be our favorite part of the episode every week.
Yeah.
How about them Bills?
Yep. So what do they have? So they did sign somebody today. They re-signed Jake Kumaro. Yep. So he was their number
for like less than $1 million.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's a great move. That was one of Aaron Rodgers' most favorite players, or not his most, but like that was a guy he was really hot on his team.
Yeah, and he was their number 6 guy. He contributes on special teams. I wonder what it means for a guys like Metakevich or any other big special teams guy. I mean, they did bring back their other huge special teams guy in Saron Neal. They signed, I think, last week or the week before. So maybe those guys get increased snaps on special teams and in the offense. I know Neal supposedly is going to get a lot more snaps on defense. And then they did make 2 big cuts as of now with A.J. Klein and John Feliciano, and that gives them $8 million cap space, and it gets them from $6.5 to $7 million over the cap to now $1 million or $2 million under it.
And then I think you said they cut John Feliciano, and there are a few others. I'm trying to
AJ Klein, and
AJ Klein, yeah. And these players, they're good at what they're like. If this wasn't a pandemic year, we might have kept 1 or 2 of them. Like they're good at what they do, but you can get the same money.
Yeah.
For a player with lesser because they want to prove something. And again, it's nothing on them. It's just that they're playing so well on such a great team that there are a few mid-tier guys that sometimes have to be taken out, like brought in. But, there's actually some pickups today. There are some cuts today from other teams I want to mention that could be possible moves for the Bills. But let's take a look at the Bills. Right now, they have a lot of things to do. But I have a very interesting theory for what the Bills can do, Robin. So this might even be like one of our YouTube videos, guys. But so it's going to seem crazy at first, everyone, including Robin. I just want you to hear me out for the next few minutes and how this possibly could happen. But here's my dream scenario of what the Bills can do. Now, first things first, I think this is going to happen no matter what, like 70% chance. The first thing is they need another veteran weapon for Josh.
Yeah.
I really think Gronk's going to come play for, like there's signs that if he's going to play again, he wants to play for Buffalo. So that's one thing. Now, I think we need to there's a few players that some other receivers will re-sign or sign fresh from free agency that could be our second or thirds. But we need one more weapon to really make us unstoppable, or near unstoppable for our offense. And here's that, man. I have my dream prediction of what's going to happen next week is we draft, in my opinion, one of the 3 best running backs in the league, Christian McCaffrey. Now, here's why this could happen. Christian is getting kind of injury prone, but he's injury prone like Gronk is. There's a reason why Gronk was so great the past 2 years. He's only doing 20 to 30% of the workload of the offense. The reason Christian's getting injured is he's been the workhorse 60 to 75% of the time the past few years, and that's why he got injured the past 2 years. So right now, Christian McCaffrey, his cap hit this year is $14,300,000. Now, here's something we could do. We could offer a first, and we could trade. We need some more cap space, of course. So one of the ways we can get one of our cap hits is we trade the Panthers back to Star Lotulelei. Because they could use some stuff on their defense, and they probably wouldn't mind. They want something in return. And again, this doesn't have to be a confirmed thing to do it. This is just an option how to bring Christian over. But I think you bring a player or 2 over, plus a first round, maybe our second or third, and then you bring him over. Here's some things you can do. Stephon, you could easily – this is his last year, so excuse me, his last year or 2. So right now, Stephon, I believe, is at least 2 more years at about $13 million each year. You sign him to. He's obviously going to be here for at least another 5-6 years. So sign him to another 4 to 5 year deal and help the cap that way. Then you just go with Apple. Maybe we can convince Tre'Davious to chip off like $3 million.
Yeah.
And you just go down the list. You ask Dion to do it, which is reasonable. Like maybe Mitch. And again, not all of them, but like if you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 of our top guys out of 7 or 8 to take cuts
or restructures,
and you either trade Star or Cole, or you cut Cole and you do something. Because I'm sorry, one thing though is no matter what happens, Star has to go. It's not that he's bad. It's just like. 2 players, like especially our guy Harrison Phillips, he is doing better at what Star is doing, and that's expected because Star's getting older. And Star's just not worth the 7.7 dead cap we have on him. And then I would love nothing more for Cole to be here. Don't get me wrong about that. If we can somehow convince him to, I don't know, sign a contract 1 or 2 years, or the other, like I said, if you the 5 or 6 guys chip their deals away. Then we can make this my dream Christian McCaffrey deal done. But so I'm just saying it's possible to, if you trim the fat the right way and trade some guys, you can easily bring Christian McCaffrey here and sign some of the veterans that might want to go ring chasing to a veteran minimum deal. Because today, here's I was bringing up like the 2 players we were mentioning, like AJ Klein got let go. And John Feliciano. I apologize, everyone listening, because I just had it open, but it dropped off on me. Where is it?
Roger Saffold and somebody else?
There was someone from the NFC North. Where is it? Oh yes, Trey Flowers.
Flowers.
The Lions released Trey Flowers. He could be a guy towards, I wouldn't say it's towards the end of his career, but I don't think he has many prime, like he could want to like a 1 year, like I want to get a ring and next year I can make a big contract deal.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, there was an offensive lineman. Yes, thank you, Roger Salford.
Yeah.
Who was a guard that you could, and like again, doesn't necessarily have to be these guys, but you can sign 3 to 4 of these great veteran players for pretty good deals for like $1 million. I can't remember do you remember the veteran $1 million is? It's like $1.5 million or $2 million.
Yeah, it's like 1.3 or 4. I can't remember the exact number, but it's somewhere a little over $1 million.
So that Robin is my dream. Like I think the Bills are going to do some sort, because again, I really think no matter what, they're going to do some stuff that they can have space to make a splash. Again, maybe it won't be as big of a splash as I'm hoping, but I'm saying it is feasible that we can get Christian McCaffrey and 3 or 4 of these guys and still have space for, like, obviously our draft picks and a few other things. But that's just my opinion. I don't know what you think about that.
So I think if you can get him for a mid or late round pick and then, like you said, somehow trade Stars, trade Cole, could I be talked into Christian McCaffrey? Yes, but a premium pick that they apparently want, I can't, because of the way that second contract running backs have gone down, like Zeke in Dallas. Now with that contract and the way that they can't really get out of it, they have to now get rid of Amari Cooper, maybe trade La'el Collins, maybe trade or move on from DeMarcus Lawrence, so it's kind of hurt their cap there. Even Derrick Henry, who's been a stud, but the last 2-3 playoff games he's played, he's only done so much for them, and he's the best running back in the league with that. And then Dalvin Cook's on his second year. He gets banged up a little bit. Still, those guys can still be productive in spots, but I feel like you look at the running back position as a whole, you don't necessarily need an elite, big money guy at that position to win. In fact, in most cases, not paying those guys big money helps you in the end.
And again, the the last thing I want to say is the other thing I forgot to mention is his cap. If his dead cap each year, or not each year. I'm sorry. Each year he is owed $12 million. Now the first year is $12 million. So let's say we did get. No, I apologize. His cap hit actually is not that bad at all this year. It's $8.6 million.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So that's why this could absolutely work. The other thing is one of the other nice things is the NFL cap is getting better. The reason it's lower than it thought it was because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like I saw somewhere that in the next few years it could be up to $240 million.
Yeah.
Now I can't confidently say that, but I've heard that somewhere. So that's like financially, I think that could work, and I think you could give the Panthers a first, a second, or third, and maybe a player, and obviously not. Either 2/3 or a second or a fourth, along with the first. Like, I think we'll both agree we have to give them at least a first. And honestly, I'm okay with that, because the Rams have doing it in the past few years, and it's working for them. I'll say this, though. Don't do it as much as the Rams, but for a few things. Because, again, if we brought Christian in that way, we would be perfect. Because, again, we would only use him 20-30% of the time. And he'll help. Josh will never have a problem getting rid of the ball because it's free just for this year. Like, you would have Dawson, he would have Gronk, Stephon, and some other great veteran receivers that are free. Even if Cole is re-signed, we still have to sign some veteran receivers that are out there. And there are a couple. So I guess the thing I'm trying to say is this idea is not as crazy as people would think of it is. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah. I could see it. Bean's not normally big unless it's I think for me, I think Brand Bean feels kind of similar. Is it has to be a premium position, and running back's kind of a position that's kind of been pushed down to the very end. And if you're making that move, I think you're making for pass rusher or something else. And there were Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated did say at the Combine that he heard 2 free agents that specifically said that he wanted to go to Buffalo. He didn't get the names, but he clarified this week that it was 2 defensive guys. So it could be someone like Hassan Reddick, Chandler Jones, maybe a corner. But he was saying they were bigger name defensive players. And I think if it's somebody that can finish your pass rush, that intrigues me now. It's how much you pay for it and what maneuvering you have to do to get it done. That worries me a little bit.
I guess the last thing I'll say of this is I think we can get a great pass. Like, there's going to be about 3 or 4 pass rushers. Like, Trey Flowers out there, Von Miller's out there, and there's 2 or 3 other guys that are very good that are free agents. Chandler Jones, thank you.
Nwusu's, I can't remember the first name, but apparently they're interested in some guy named Nwusu from the Chargers.
Yeah, so that's the only big splash trade I think that could completely change the face of the franchise. Because again, generally, yes, most times I would agree that you wouldn't do that for a running back, but for someone like Christian McCaffrey's caliber, I think it's possible. But again, that's what I have to say. But it's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
Is there any players or any big trades you want to try to see happen yourself, or think that could do something, or what do you think they should do? What can the Bills do to get a ring this year, in your opinion?
So I think they have to, they have to. I'm not saying bargain shop, but you do have to see when they got their 2 safety duo, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. They found those guys as guys who in their first rookie contracts and elsewhere as guys that didn't get used as well or didn't, for a reason get placed in the right system to play up to their potential. And now they're the best safety duo in the league. The guys like that this year, you might be looking at someone like Evan Ingram, somebody that's been ruined the last couple of days. Again, a guy like Gronk is an interesting idea too. And
just for a year, not even long term, just for this year. Like he even said, I think he even did the veteran minimum for not the Broncos, the Buccaneers, if I remember correctly.
I think it was $10 million, but it was structured in a way where it didn't count much against the cap, and maybe you could do that with him.
it was something where, like, he got paid well, but it was something that was cap friendly, I guess what I'm trying to say is.
Yeah. But, I could see that being an option. I do think Evan Ingram's also an interesting for 1 year, I would say Gronk, probably the better option, but for multiple years, someone like Evan Ingram who can line up all over the field, ran 4.4 at the Combine, and both him and Dawson Knox played at Ole Miss. I think that's, yeah. But I don't know if they played together. They might have been at the same school 1 or 2 years, but I do know that they were both tight ends at Ole Miss, although Ingram, I think, was far more productive because they didn't use Knox because they had Metcalf and a couple other really good receivers at that time.
And the nice thing is, I think no matter what, the future is bright for our team because, again, you have players that can, for the next 5 to 6 years, can be great weapons. Like Dawson's can be a great weapon. And so is Stephon, and Gabriel Davis is the young receiver who in 5 to 6 years will take over for Stephon. And again, I'm not saying Stephon will be here. It's just Gabriel will have the full, ability. Now, let's say I'm 50-50 if Cole's leaving, but if Cole's gone, like, who would you want those to re-sign for receivers, like Isaiah McKenzie or someone else? And what free agent receivers would you look at?
I would like to see if they could somehow, not as cheap as last year, because they really got McKenzie like a little over like $1 million, $1.5 million. I don't know if you can get that, maybe $3 to $4 million, somewhere in between. If he goes $4.5 or $5 million, then you kind of have to let him go. But there are guys like in the bargain market, like a Byron Pringle from Kansas City, who they're giving Tyreek Hill a new contract. They're looking at giving Orlando Brown a new contract. So their receiving core outside of Hill and Hardman probably all hit free agency, and he'd be interesting. Braxton Berrios, because he could maybe do the Cole Beasley slot role along with being a gadget player and an all-pro returner. So he gives you multiple things out of there, which is kind of what they've wanted. I'm trying to think. Jamison Crowder probably gets let go from the Jets because they already have Elijah Moore to play the slot, and maybe they bring back Berrios anyway. So he could be like a stopgap. Same with Randall Cobb. And then I'm trying to think who else could be. But again, could be a situation where they get a stopgap at that position, or even keep Cole Beasley, but then even first or second round, it's a deep receiver class, and if the right guy falls to you, I'm not opposed to going that direction. I know some people would say, why you want to go first round receiver when you already have Diggs and Davis, but they're a team that loves to run 3 receiver sets. That might change this year if they get another tight end in free agency, but...
Well, the last thing I'll say is, I think we both agree that if they do a semi-big signing for an offensive weapon, it'll at least be a tight end.
Yeah.
Either Gronk or Evan Engram.
Yeah.
And I think they can get a defensive end in the free agency more than trading.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, there's like 4 or 5 tough guys that probably want a 1-2 year deal for a ring.
And then Shaq Lawson may come back as well. Supposedly he really wants to come back.
You read my mind. He's still... I don't know how much the money he got, but, again, he did what he had to do to get the better money, and we don't blame him for that. And the thing that happens is they go to other teams, and it's not them, it's the teams.
Yeah.
They come back for a lesser deal, and they still might win a ring. So
yeah.